Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to the Motivating Force. Joining me, as always, we have Josue, an aspiring Marine Corps officer who's currently finishing up ROTC and his bachelor's in the criminal justice field, and myself, Justin, a motivational speaker who's always more than excited to share all of our wonderful ideas and topics with you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about how college can save your future. I have some pretty obscure ideas about college and what it can really do for you. So I invite you guys to listen to that change of perspective, because I know for a lot of people, college can come with very polarizing points of view. You can love it, you can hate it. Some people think it's going to make them rich, and others think it's going to give them a lifetime of debt. Some people will seek educational growth from it, whereas others view it more as a paid partying program. So the point is, people can go to college for so many different reasons. What I'm going to tell you guys is they're going to get exactly what they expect.
Well, to start, when you mention that it could be a very polarizing topic, the first thing that comes to mind is like the controversy between the American student debt issues that we have. And it's like you do have the camps of people that are just going to college because it's getting paid for by the government regardless because they have financial aid. And then you have the people that are taking out loans or that they're working extra just to pay for college. And those are two drastically different points of view from the get, just from the students alone.
Yeah, I mean, people will come from very different financial backgrounds for it. And people will kind of go to these really prestigious colleges for degrees that don't require that level of prestige.
Yeah.
Right? Say for myself, I went to college to get a degree in business, which is a dime a dozen for a lot of people. So why am I going to go to somewhere like Yale or Princeton to get a business degree when I could very easily go to my community college, get it for a third of the price,
and get the same degree, same piece of paper.
And get the same piece of paper from it, right? Yeah, and people will take it to different levels of severity there with that too, because for myself, it took me 4 years to get a 2-year degree. Mm-hmm. But I had zero debt because I was paying for it out of pocket and I wouldn't take on the loans. So even though it took me a little bit longer, it just meant that I could be a little bit more thorough with my work and I could take it a little more seriously.
Yeah. I'm also talking about the perspective of the actual experience of being in college for the people that, let's say that they do have the financial aid helping them, so they never have to pay a dime towards their degree. They're just going, it's like extended high school, but more fun, right? Like you have less strict teachers or professors. You have people that are a little bit older that can party with you or whatever. Then you have the people that are taking it as serious as possible because they're paying for this class.
Yeah,
there's hundreds of dollars that they're spending for this one semester, and they don't want to just party, so they're here for work.
I did a pretty good job covering all those different angles there with my polarizing views, right?
Yeah, you're on track.
All right. Well, with staying on track, the reason I titled the video as I did is because this is going to be based off of my viewpoint for college and what it can do for people. So whether you're 18 or 48, I think I have some lessons here that can really help you out and see it from a new perspective. So even if college is totally out of the picture for you, I still want you guys to stick around and kind of hear what I have to say. It might help you out in other areas of your life as well. The first thing I got to say to you guys about it is that you should stay in college as long as you need to. College is typically set up in programs that are about 2 years, right? And if you're going to college with those programs, that time frame, it's not designed for the sake of the college. It's designed for the sake of that degree. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of today's most influential and most wealthy people in the world have dropped out of college at some point, or they have a degree completely unrelated to their current field of work that has made them successful. So the point is, go to college for the experience, not for the piece of paper. Some people will only need 2 semesters to really figure out what they're trying to do with their lives, whereas others need to pursue a full-on doctorate's degree to get where they want to be. And either way is completely fine. The point is, make it a journey for yourself, not what's expected of you.
No, I like that a lot because if you're thinking of the people that go right out of high school, right? While you're in high school, it's all about it's almost like social networking with people, and you're just trying to get by because you're forced to go to school. You kind of can't just skip high school. You have more of like a lazy approach to it. But then when it comes to going to college, whether you pay for it or you don't, you're getting a little bit more mature. You're meeting new people that are actually trying to better their lives, trying to like find some kind of path for themselves. So even if you're going with like an unspecified degree, you're just kind of just going and you'll figure it out as you go. That experience alone is going to help like give you the information to mold which path you want to choose, or like decide which path you want to go down. Like if you take a class on social behavior or psychology or something, and you never thought you would want to be a therapist or something along those lines, you take that class, you get some information that kind of sparks this light in you that it turns out that you end up getting a degree in psychology or whatever. Yeah, you had some kind of exposure to a new field that you weren't expecting to learn about, and then that's the beauty of going to college, especially when you're surrounded by people that are having like this end goal in mind for themselves.
I think people should really take advantage of the resources that colleges do have to offer you. It does kind of seem like going the extra step, but they make it a hell of a lot easier when you do. Like things like talking to the student counselors, right? And kind of let them figure out what you need to do to get where you want to be, because they will do that for you. The people who are going to college and they're not exactly sure what they want to do, I think they have the best outcome with college. First year of college is kind of designed to be that like BS extension of high school, because it is a whole new playing field and they want you to kind of get used to that, as well as, of course, advancing your education. But it's nothing really super specific, right? Like every single degree out there requires, that college level algebra, that college level English, like all these little things, right? So it kind of helps you get your feet wet and understanding of what type of education you're receiving now. And for the people who have no idea what they want to do, your 3 classes one semester, like you're saying, you could be taking a psychology class, you could be taking a criminal justice class, and you could be taking like introduction to law. And you can have all these wild courses that are completely on the opposite ends of the earth, and you could be taking them at the same time. Not only is that going to help you decide what you like and don't like, it's going to just broaden your knowledge base that much more.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like you get to know more regardless. Like constantly searching and seeking out growth in knowledge, whatever it is. If it's like you said, math, psychology, like whatever course you're taking, you're learning more. You can apply these to different aspects of your life no matter what scenario comes to play.
Moving on to the second thing I have for everybody today, it's that college is going to remain that fresh start, and it's going to be fresh year round for you. So as we're saying, with all these types of exposure going on, there's also going to be a fresh pool of people that you're going to be introduced to. And now you're going to be around a diversified group of people, right? From old to young, beginners and experts, everybody's going to be there. You'll be surprised who's going to be in your class and where they come from. And I say all this to bring up my second point, which is that life is typically about who you know more than it is what you know. In high school, you're only running around with a bunch of other beginners in life. No experience, nothing coming with them. They're at the same exact level you are. And later on in the workplace, you're mostly going to run into people who are kind of like stuck. They're not really going anywhere. Sure, they're not headed back. They're not like degressing in life, but they're not moving forward. They're not seeking these new opportunities. And college is going to be one of the very few magical places where everybody around you is looking for a new start, and they can bring a wide range of experience and connections with them. So it's kind of up to you to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I was waiting to reach this point because I've actually had multiple classes where I've had, like 18-year-olds straight out of high school, ranging to the 40-year-old to the 60-year-old just coming back to school just because, they're retired or they just want to seek a new career path. And I'm like, this person's like 50. How is it not too late to change? Like my ignorant mind would question the weight that they took to then go back to college. But then you sit there, then I've actually networked with a few of them. And in, I believe it was Intro to Criminal Justice, I became friends with one of the older guys there that worked in a security firm. And right before I got the job at the hospital, he helped me almost get a job in a security field. And it's all because of the networking and diversity of those individual classes from college, as opposed to just meeting another guy that's the son of a security officer at high school. Like, it's completely different.
Yeah, now you're meeting the actual people.
Yeah.
And I know it's not too amazing being from Orlando, being a Floridian and all this, but for some of you guys, it might be amazing to hear, like, even your professors, okay? My professor for my advertising course was the CEO of advertising for Universal Studios. You want to talk about a crazy level of experience and success in a person's life, and they're coming there to teach these kids going to college? There is so much to be gained out of that. And for a lot of people, that'll go right over their heads. They won't even know these things.
Yeah.
But to even have, like, think if you were an adult and you wanted to get into advertising and you're like, you know what? I'm going to schedule an appointment with the CEO of advertising for Universal, and I'm going to spend an hour with him every week and he's going to counsel me. How much is that going to cost you? Whereas you just go to college and get it done, right? So there's all kinds of opportunities there. You just have to seek them out and get to know these people and work on your networking.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think somebody like that at that rank would be working at a college that I'm sure doesn't pay them anywhere close to what that salary is.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually pretty funny because I think on the second class we had in our advertising, he actually kicked a student out of the class.
Yeah.
Because he just wasn't taking it seriously. And he needed, for some weird reason, he needed it, and his degree was like customer service something, right? So it had nothing to do with it, and you could tell like he didn't want to be there. And the professor was like, go sign your papers, drop my class, I'm not teaching you. He's like, I don't even know how much they pay me because I don't care. I'm not here for the money. He's like, I'm getting older, I have no kids, and that little, paternity clock is kind of kicking, and I want to share my knowledge with people.
He's trying to pass down the knowledge to people.
Yeah, and that was more important to him. So he didn't even care if you struggled, if anything. He just wanted you to pay attention and care about what he had to say. And everything he had to say was, of course, gold.
But like you said, that's the great thing of being in Orlando, then also not being part of a Yale or a Princeton or Harvard. Like, this is just a community college, and the guys coming from Universal, which to us is like our holy grail. That's like what brings Florida's economy to flourishing. So, I mean, it's great. You meet so many different people, and like I said, even 60-year-olds that are great to just talk to and hear about their life stories and where they think they messed up on the same career path, so then you don't happen to make that same mistake.
It kind of does break a stigma too, because it wasn't a community college where we're meeting these types of people who are extremely successful. And it's that stigma that community college is kind of like that greasy paper degree, right? Like, yeah, sure, you have the degree, but what did you really learn? Was it anything? Was it just a bunch of community help and you kind of just like, yay, here's your piece of paper, But community colleges, if that's your only option, especially for a lot of these younger people out there who are struggling and say financial aid's not, you don't want to take out big loans, right? So you're like me with that. What are you going to do? And you have to go with the cheaper options, and you're going to kind of look down on the community college. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, you absolutely do not have to look down on it, because you're going to get exactly what you expect out of it. And if you're there for the amazing education, you're going to get one. My third point is another stigma about college, which is that it's not only for young adults. I feel like I probably don't even need to mention this at this point, because I think that stigma is almost non-existent, but I do want to put it out there for everybody, because regardless of your age, if you're seeking out a new opportunity in life and something like college is going to help you with that, then nothing should stand in your way. The older you are, the better experience you'll have in college, because a lot of kids are so amazed at how relaxed professors can be with you and how much radically different it is from high school. But that's because of one key difference. In high school, you're required to be there. In college, you want to be there. So they're going to treat you a lot differently. And if you're older, you kind of have that stronger desire than you did if you're younger, right? So it's going to feel a lot more accommodating to you.
Yeah, and I feel like that stigma should go away completely, Because even for people, let's say, that are going into the military, right, in order to achieve certain ranks in your career, you need to have some sort of a college degree, right? So you can go straight into the military without a college degree at all. But then once you rank up enough, then you have the opportunity presented to you to become a second lieutenant, to become an officer, you need to go back to college and have a bachelor's degree, no matter what. Some branches of the military, it doesn't matter what your degree's in for your job, and others it's specific to the job you're taking. But then for the people that do choose to go back to college, that's late 20s, that's early 30s, going back to college with a bunch of kids that are 18, 19. So it's, I don't see how the stigma is like still viable for people to believe in. You know, there's no such thing as it's only for young people.
I know there has definitely been that growth away from it, but I think it is more so just me being able to lean into that point that, you know, college is going to be better for you when you are older. So don't really keep your age into consideration there, right? Because I can remember when I was, say, like 18 years old and I wanted something, right? Compared to now. And I'm not even old, right? Hopefully, right? I don't know, right? But being 26 years old and being like, I want something, it means something completely different than when I was 18. The drive behind it, the seriousness behind it, just everything about it, it has a different meaning to want something the older you get.
Yeah, I mean, the older you get as well, you also have a better understanding of the weight of money, like the value that it holds. So I've had, like you said in your situation where your teachers kicked out kids in the class, I've had the teacher say, like, listen, you guys need to take this seriously because you're not coming here because you have to. You're coming here because you chose the class and you paid for it. That's right. Money. Like, that's hundreds of dollars. You go to different colleges, universities, that's thousands of dollars. So it's like, you understand the weight of that. And then it's like, if you put that money down, you want to be in that class. So you're there to learn. You're there to take it seriously, not just fool around.
I think just having more of that life experience too, you understand what it means to make connections, make those new friends. You understand you're there on your time, right? Kind of my first point with it. And nobody's pushing you to do it. That's kind of the whole thing here about my reasonings for college and what it can really do for people, aside from just this generic level of information, like the same standard information that's pushed down high school kids' throats, right?
Yeah.
Because at the same time, when we say, like, you know, you only need to go to college for 2 semesters and figure it out, it's because when you start seeking higher education, you could be like, screw this, I'm going to go get a trade job.
Yeah.
None of this is going to teach me how to be an electrician. And then, by the way, 20 years later, the electrician's making 6 figures a year, same as anybody else with a college degree. And those are the things that I think high school kids are starting to figure out now.
Yeah.
Especially since we're hiring kids from trade schools at my job. So I had to see the difference, because I've been asking them too, like, hey man, why aren't you like going to college? Are you sure this is what you want to do? And mostly because of how I feel about being a mechanic, which has its bitter days.
Not what you want to do.
Right. It kind of has its bitter days. So I'm like, are you sure, man? Like, you're 18.
Yeah.
You want to work on cars for a living? But you know what I mean. Yeah. And, you know, kids are having a stronger head on their shoulders now. So I think it was just a good topic to have for everybody here.
I think one of the points that you mentioned too about like how celebrities and or people that are wealthy and successful have been coming out more saying that they either dropped out or they don't have a degree or it's something completely useless to what they're doing. I think that being, you know, circling around in the media and being more of like a commonplace thing is one of the reasons why kids are being more conscious of, you know, maybe I don't have to go to college. And it's not saying like that they're being lazy, but the way that they push it to kids in high school is like it's life or death.
Yeah.
Like if you don't go to college and get a degree, then you're basically worthless.
Right.
And that's the wrong way to push that message across.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of statistics that back that kind of thing up, but I'm not a big fan of statistics because you can really skew that information any way you want with just one
confirmation
little
bias
data point. Exactly. I definitely, you know, I agree with that. And it's not a life or death thing. And I think every kid should go to college for some extent just to understand the experience, right? And then see if it really is for them or not. Because some kids are going to have such an ambitious drive to really do anything that they want that if the college degree isn't required, right? Like they're not trying to be a doctor, they can pursue that on their own and get their own education in the fields that they want to go to. Because that's the beauty of the internet as well.
Yeah, or even the kids that, let's say you had learning disabilities, right? You're socially awkward. You can't be around people and pay attention and focus in school, right? When you get the experience of going to college, it's a little bit more free. Like you're not kind of forced to go to this class with 20 people. You can go to a class with 50 people in college or a class with 10 people, depending on which the class is. But then there's also the option for online. Right. There's hybrid, where you do both. And then for those kids, they might love that. And then they have a completely new perspective on learning in general because they're given the option to work from a computer, work from, down the hall in like a study hall or something. So just going to college to get new perspectives on ways that you learn things can affect you for the better.
Because if there's one thing for sure, it's you're not going to get bullied in college.
Oh, no.
That's a very high school, middle school type of thing.
If anything, the professor's going to bully you.
Yeah, well, that's true, right? They harass you at the very least. But all in good fun. All in good fun. Like I said, the main drive, this is how college can save your future. Because if you have a tomorrow, you have a future. And that, again, like I'm saying, could be at age 18 and it can be at age 48. So don't squander that time. And with that time, you don't have to go to college for any specific length. You can go one semester at a time. Seek out the friendships because you never know who you're going to meet. And some of these people there can really change your life in an instant. And no matter how old you are, again, you can always make that better future for yourself. And college will never discriminate against that.
Yeah, no, like I said, with the networking, just meeting somebody in a class that I had for 2-3 months, and I was almost given the opportunity to work at a new field. And then I've had teachers there that are on the board for the sheriff's office, and then he's also the one that makes the deciding factor if somebody gets hired or not. And then I've been giving also the opportunity to apply there after I finished my degree, and then he could kind of like streamline it because he knows me, he knows my work ethic because he's teaching me. So just having that opportunity as well all comes from going to college and networking and knowing people and being sociable, being open to learning and meeting new people in general, just changing that perspective that you have on the educational system.
Yeah, and that's why it can definitely take just one semester to really save your future. Because just meeting that one professor, making that one friend, it can really change a lot. And I would just, just inspired to tell people all about it. I know today is getting to be a very anti-college type of culture because of that stigma, because of all the celebrities coming out and saying that they never finished college or they never did this or that. I don't know. I just kind of felt the need to support it a little bit. That's all.
No, it's good. And I hope everybody understood that from the message. Everybody understood the points that we were coming across from the episode. And if you have any further questions about what messages we're trying to give out to people, you can also go check out the vast catalog that we have of videos here on YouTube. You can also check us out on Anchor FM, where it's audio only podcasts, and that's on Spotify. That's, like I said, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere basically you get podcasts. That's where we're on. Video only is only going to be here on YouTube. Feel free to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, where you guys can always tag us. You guys can always DM us. Our inboxes are always open. Remember to share the videos with friends and family. If you have some kids that are confused on if they should go to college or not, send them this video. Get a little bit more inside view for them. They can kind of pick out that path that they want to choose for themselves, because it is all down to them. You kind of can't force them to go. Just help encourage them on the experience. Remember to like, comment, and hit that bell icon and subscribe if you haven't done so already.
New videos come out every Monday and Wednesday at 8 a.m. EST. So until Wednesday, go on and get.